Welcome back, Lincoln Currency everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and perhaps most unexpected stories in the world of coin collecting. It's a journey that starts with something so common, you might have a few of them in your pocket or a jar on your dresser right now, the humble Lincoln cent. But not just any cent, we're talking about the 1980-60 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin may seem ordinary, almost invisible in its everyday familiarity. But beneath its copper-plated surface lies a world of history, hidden varieties, rare errors, and yes, even rumors of a coin that sold for an astronomical $98 million. It's a wild story filled with numismatic intrigue, and by the end of this video, you might just find yourself checking every penny that passes through your hands. So let's begin with the basics. The 1980-60 Lincoln cent was minted in Denver, as denoted by the small DE mint mark just below the date on the obverse of the coin. That mint mark is a detail many overlook, but for collectors, it's a key indicator of origin and potential rarity. Denver, of course, has been one of the principal U.S. mints for over a century, and in 1986 it produced more than 4.4 billion Lincoln cents. Yes, billion with a B. That makes the 1980-60 one of the most common modern pennies in existence. On the surface, that doesn't seem like the recipe for a valuable coin. After all, scarcity is usually the main ingredient in driving a coin's value through the roof. But as any experienced collector will tell you, value is rarely just about how many coins were made. It's about how many survived in exceptional condition, whether they carry any mint errors, whether they represent an unusual strike or a transitional design, and whether there are any mysteries that keep collectors chasing them. The 1980-60 cent has a few of these surprises up its sleeve. First, let's look at the composition. By 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from the traditional bronze alloy pennies to a newer composition, zinc with a thin copper plating. This was due to rising copper prices. And while most 1980-60 cents are indeed copper-plated zinc, there are persistent rumors and at least one confirmed case of a 1980-60 penny being struck on a leftover bronze planchet. That means instead of weighing the usual 2.5 grams for a zinc cent, these era coins weigh about 3.1 grams. That weight difference is critical. It's subtle, but with a precise digital scale, it's enough to raise eyebrows and make hearts race. Some of these off-metal era coins have sold for thousands of dollars. Not millions, not yet, but the interest is intense. It's these anomalies that keep collectors inspecting every 1980-60 penny they find. Add to this the occasional double die errors, where parts of the design, like Lincoln's eye, the motto, "In God We Trust," or even the date, appear double due to a misalignment during the striking process, and you have the makings of a chase. These double-die varieties aren't common, but they do exist, and they can command hundreds or even thousands in high-grade condition. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the rumor, the myth, the viral story that a single 1980-60 penny sold for an earth-shaking $98 million. Where did this come from? Is it true? Did someone really pay nearly $100 million for a single penny? Here's the deal. As of now, there is no confirmed auction record or credible transaction that supports this figure. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and PCGS, the professional coin grading service, have no listings showing such a sale. What likely happened is that the story began as an internet hoax or a clickbait article, claiming that a rare era penny had fetched a mind-blowing price. Over time, the story grew legs. It was shared across social media platforms, sometimes accompanied by photos of ordinary coins, other times with mislabeled images of known rare errors, and the story took on a life of its own. Despite the lack of verification, the story persists because it taps into a powerful desire that something small, seemingly worthless, might actually be unimaginably valuable. And in rare cases, that's not entirely wrong. We've seen pennies sell for over $1 million. The 1943 bronze cent is a famous example. That year, pennies were supposed to be made from steel due to wartime shortages, but a few bronze planchets were left in the hoppers by mistake. Only a handful exist. They're incredibly rare, and they've sold for hundreds of thousands, even over $1 million at auction. So, it's not totally out of the question that a coin could reach that level under the right circumstances. But for the 1980-60? Not yet. That doesn't mean it won't ever happen, though. Because here's where things get interesting. Coin values aren't just driven by rarity, they're driven by demand, historical context, cultural symbolism, and even hype. If a coin, like the 1980-60, were found to carry a truly unique error, a double denomination strike, a dramatic off-center error, or a minting anomaly never seen before, it could become legendary overnight. Add a backstory involving provenance, media coverage, or a famous collector, and the price could go stratospheric. Now, let's talk grading. If you have a 1980-60 penny in pristine condition, it might be worth much more than face value. Coins graded MS-67 or higher by PCGS or NGC can sell for over $500 to $1,000. That's not a fortune, but it's a big jump from a single cent. The key is condition: no scratches, full details, strong luster, and minimal contact marks. Most coins that enter circulation never make it to that level, which is why uncirculated rolls or mint sets are worth checking if you're a collector. Then there's the matter of market psychology. Sometimes, the perception of value becomes the value. If collectors believe that a coin is rare or desirable, the demand drives the price. This has happened before. Consider the 1955 double die cent, a coin with a massive doubling of the date and lettering. When it was first discovered, it was an error coin that shouldn't have existed. Over time, its fame grew. Now, even circulated examples sell for hundreds, and uncirculated ones fetch thousands. Could the 1980-60 become the next 1955? Only time will tell. So why do these stories captivate us? Why do we keep hunting through change jars and coin rolls for that one special find? It's because coins like the 1980-60 represent a link between the everyday and the extraordinary. They're a reminder that value can hide in plain sight. That history, artistry, and even mystery can be packed into something as small and unassuming as a penny. And it's also because, deep down, we love a good treasure hunt. We love the idea that fate might hand us something rare and valuable when we least expect it. That's what keeps the hobby alive and thriving. If you have a 1980-60 penny, especially one in excellent condition or with unusual weight, color, or strike, don't toss it aside. Take a closer look. Get it weighed. Check for errors. And if you're not sure, have it appraised by a reputable dealer or submit it to a grading service. You never know, you might be sitting on something special. It might not be worth $98 million. But in the world of collecting, dreams have a way of becoming reality when you least expect it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the mysterious and potentially valuable 1980-60 Lincoln cent. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about the coins in your pocket, we hope this journey inspired you to look a little closer at the world around you. Because sometimes, even a penny can hold a story worth millions. Would you like this formatted for teleprompter use or broken into parts for multiple video segments? The humble 1-cent coin. It's the smallest denomination in U.S. currency. Most of us see it as nothing more than pocket change. But what if I told you that a 1989 Lincoln penny, yes, a coin worth just 1 cent on its face, has been discussed in rumors and listings as being worth millions of dollars? Some even claim a value as high as $98 million. But how much of that is truth? And how much of it is exaggerated hype or outright misinformation? Let's take a deep dive into the world of the 1989 Lincoln cent, with a focus on mint marks, varieties, historical context, and the real factors that determine value. We're going to explore how this simple copper-plated zinc coin could be the gateway to numismatic treasure, or simply another shiny disc in your coin jar. Let's begin with the basics. The Lincoln cent has been in continuous production since 1909, originally released to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features Lincoln's bust, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse, until 1958, featured 2 wheat ears. From 1959 to 2008, the reverse displayed the Lincoln Memorial. Then, in 2009, to mark Lincoln's bicentennial, The US Mint released 4 new designs depicting different aspects of his life, but our focus today is the 1989 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This particular year is often overlooked. It's not tied to any significant anniversary, nor is it widely regarded as a key date by mainstream collectors. But numismatics has a way of hiding gems in plain sight. The 1989 cent was minted in huge quantities. Over 7.3 billion were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Those have no mint mark. Another 5.3 billion came out of the Denver Mint, which bear the D Mint mark. Additionally, there were proof coins minted at the San Francisco Mint, carrying the S mark, with just under 3.2 million proof coins made. These were not meant for circulation. They were sold in proof sets to collectors.so. With numbers like that, you may wonder, why would anyone think a 1989 penny is worth more than face value, let alone millions? Here's where it gets interesting. Rarity in numismatics isn't just about mintage numbers. It's about anomalies, condition, errors, and market demand. That's where certain 1989 pennies start to stand out. Let's start with mint errors. Some 1989 Lincoln cents have gained attention because of striking errors. These include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. One of the most well-known and sought-after varieties is the 1989 D penny with a misplaced mint mark or repunched mint mark. While these don't necessarily reach astronomical values, collectors will pay a premium for well-documented and certified errors. A double die adverse, or DDO, is another desirable error that occasionally surfaces in 1989 pennies. These occur when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment during the hubbing process, causing duplication of the design elements, usually most visible in the date, motto, or Lincoln's profile. A strong double die from 1989 can fetch hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more if it's graded high and verified by a reputable third-party grading company like PCGS or NGC. Then there are coins struck on foreign planchets or experimental blanks. While incredibly rare, some coins may have slipped through quality control and ended up struck on blanks intended for other denominations or even foreign currency. These kinds of errors are the true unicorns of numismatics. One of the most interesting stories surrounding the 1989 penny is that of the so-called $98 million coin. The idea that a single Lincoln cent could be worth nearly $100 million is almost certainly a myth, or perhaps the result of an error listing on e-commerce platforms. It's not uncommon to find coins listed for exaggerated prices online, $10, $000, $1 million, even $98 million. But just because a coin is listed at a certain price doesn't mean it ever sells for that amount. In fact, most of these over-the-top listings serve as bait, clickbait, to be precise. They may lure curious browsers, hoping that someone with more money than knowledge might stumble upon it and bite. Some listings are even used to manipulate prices or scam the unaware. Realistically, the highest price ever paid for a Lincoln cent, of any year, was for an extremely rare 1943 copper cent, of which only a few are known to exist. One of those sold for over $1 million. But number 1989 penny has ever approached those heights in a verified auction. Still, that doesn't mean 1989 pennies are worthless. In fact, quite the opposite. High-grade examples, those in MS67 or higher, can bring in some serious money, especially if they're certified by top-tier grading services. For example, a 1989 D cent in MS68RD, that's Mint State 68, red color designation, could fetch hundreds of dollars or more, depending on market demand. The red designation refers to the coin's color. Pennies, especially those made after 1982, are copper-plated zinc and tend to oxidize or tone over time. A red coin retains its bright, original mint luster. Red-brown and brown coins are worth less because of discoloration and wear. Proof coins from 1989, especially those graded PR 70 DCM, Proof 70 Deep Cameo, can also command a premium. These coins were struck multiple times on polished dies to bring out mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. If a proof coin is perfect, no scratches, haze, or imperfections, it may receive the elusive 70 grade, which can significantly increase its value. Now let's talk about the grading process, because that plays a huge role in determining a coin's value. Most raw 1989 pennies found in circulation are worth face value, maybe a bit more if in decent shape. But once submitted to grading companies and slabbed, a coin's condition and authenticity are verified, and it can enter the market at a premium price. PCGS, NGC, NX, and ICG are some of the top graders. For modern coins like the 1989 cent, the grading bar is high. With so many examples still in existence, only the absolute top percentile earns a high market price. A single point difference between MS66 and MS67 can mean a difference of hundreds of dollars. Now you may be wondering, what should you look for in your own coin collection? First, grab a magnifying glass and a strong light source. Look at the date, the mint mark, Lincoln's eye and beard, and the motto, "In God We Trust." These are the areas where doubling and other anomalies are most often found. Check the reverse as well. Look at the columns of the Lincoln Memorial and the spacing of the letters. If you see something unusual, don't jump to conclusions. Compare your coin with verified examples online or in coin guides. Then, if it still looks promising, consider submitting it for grading. You should also weigh the coin. A genuine 1989 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If it's significantly more or less, that could suggest an error coin, perhaps struck on the wrong planchet. There are online communities, forums, and Facebook groups dedicated to coin collectors who can help you verify your find. But beware of confirmation bias. Just because you want a coin to be valuable doesn't mean it is. Education and skepticism are your best tools. Now, as for that $98 million story, it may stem from a viral image, a fake listing, or an exaggerated claim by an influencer trying to get views. There's no credible numismatic source or auction house that has ever authenticated or sold a 1989 penny for anywhere near that figure. Always double-check with trusted sources like PCGS, Heritage Auctions, or the US Mint. Still, the romance of finding a hidden treasure in your pocket change is real. And the possibility of turning a penny into a small fortune isn't completely out of reach, just extremely rare. But more importantly, the 1989 Lincoln cent is a fun, accessible starting point for anyone interested in numismatics. It's a coin that combines historical significance, design legacy, and a touch of mystery. So, is there a 1989 Lincoln penny worth $98 million? No. But are there 1989 pennies worth hundreds, even thousands? Absolutely, if you have the right variety in the right condition. Keep your eyes open, learn what to look for, and don't believe every headline you read. Because in the world of coins, value is part science, part art, and part luck. Thanks for sticking around through this deep dive into the 1989 Lincoln cent. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about the coin in your pocket, remember, every coin tells a story. And sometimes, the smallest coins have the biggest tales. Would you like this script adapted into a shorter version, or formatted for subtitles or narration timing?